Hello everybody and welcome to Sim Hero. We're going to go ahead and kick off a game of version 2.0, which is the version which was just released yesterday, July 9th, 2015. I do want to apologize up front. I do not normally make videos, so the video quality may be poor. You may hear my mouse clicks. Just warning you right now. Anyway, let's get going with a new game here. Sim Hero does save your game as you go along. That's to make it a little bit more old school and to make your decisions actually matter. There is permanent death and all that sort of thing. So you do get a warning when you start a new game. Do you want to overwrite your old game? So here we're going to say yes. So we get our story right up front. Our parents, enemies have usurped our throne and exiled us, the rightful heir, to this lost island. Very deep story there. You can choose to be male or female. So let's go ahead and choose male. Of course, you can rename your character. We're just going to keep the default here, just for expediency. And so you're thrown into this lost island. So a few things you'll notice right away. The screen is pretty small. You see a little bit of a overland area around where you start. It does expand as you explore the game, so don't worry about that. The map does get at least 8 times larger. So here we are on the island. We scrounged together some cloth and wood from the raft and head inland. So there's not much going on right here. We can see there's something here, the wild forest, level 1. We can build here, and there's a sign. Build a tent next to the sign to get started. Alright. Oh, there we go. So we scrounged together some material to build a crude tent to sleep in. And there's our tent. Well, when you hover over it, you can see we have the option to rule the kingdom. Not much of a kingdom yet, but we do get that option. So what is our settlement level? How much does it cost to upgrade it? And what do we get if we actually upgrade it? There's also a take action here. We'll get to that in a little bit. So you notice another kind of pit appeared after we built our tent. So let's go ahead and build a family home to attract villagers. Sounds like a good idea. Alright, events will start occurring as you progress, like this one. A few villagers arrive, population +3. Population, food, and happiness are tracked in this upper right-hand corner. So we see we now have 3 people. The other things tracked in this upper right-hand corner are the season and the number of years that you've been playing. So we can see this tree will represent the season. It's a springtime tree. The leaves are just budding. It'll turn to a summer tree, which will have kind of full leaves, then to a fall tree, which has all the fall colors you'd expect, and then we have a winter tree. So it will tell you the season. You can also keep track of your 3 main resources, which is population, food, and happiness. If any of those reaches 0 in the game, you immediately lose. From the beginning, it doesn't track the food right away. It will in a minute. So here we got another place where we can build a stockpile to store materials and goods. Sounds like a good idea. Let's go ahead and build it. Those just some cloth over boxes. You feel you can start to store things now. Hey, we can store things, and we get yet another tent. As you can see on each of these tents, you can click on them and do stuff. So we can upgrade them. We can view our stockpile from the stockpile. So what does the stockpile look like? Here's all of our materials we can collect. The max storage per item is 100. What are our statistics? What's our reputation with the various races? Do we have any trade currencies? So each of the buildings has different things that you can do at it. Alright, so we built our stockpile, and now we get another place we can build. Nice and easy. Wayrest will attract heroes. Well, the game is called Sim Hero, so let's see what we get. Heroes can be sent on expeditions for great rewards. Manage them from the main menu, which you can get to by hitting escape or right-clicking. Alright. Oh. Alright, we got some heroes. Here they are up top. So a little bit about the GUI. All of your important hero assignments will be on the left-hand side, and this will grow as you get more assignments. So right now we have our court. You can't change the members of the court. This is our main character that we picked in the beginning. And over here we have a party. So there are 3 adventuring parties. And over here on the GUI you can change which one you're looking at from 1, 2, or 3. You see the little number change. And you can change who's a member of it too. So if you want to take him out and maybe put someone else in. In the beginning it's meant to be a little bit simple. You only have 3 heroes. So that's our adventuring party. So what can we do at this point? Well, there's a graveyard here. Come across an abandoned graveyard and find some materials. Wood and stone, plus 25. Wood and stone are the two most basic materials that you'll need to build buildings and other things in Sim Hero, and you can see they're tracked on the right hand side here. We are possibly expanding this to allow to track more resources, but right now it's just wood and stone. So bam, there we go. We got 25 wood and 25 stone from visiting the graveyard. And so now we can look at dead heroes, so hopefully we can get to that a little bit later at the graveyard. So what else is there to do? Oh, we can build here a family home. Oh, now we get our first one that actually costs resources. The first ones were free just so we can kind of get used to the game and how you build things and where they go. But now everything's going to start to cost resources. So we'll attract villagers, family home. Sounds good. We have 25 wood, so sure, why not spend it? Home built. Oh, wander arrives. +1 population, if possible. So now we have 4 population. Alright, so I don't really have enough resources to upgrade anything, so let's go ahead and send our party out on adventures. So we can see up here in the GUI, we do track their hit points, which is the green bar, their mana points, which is the blue bar, and then the current level. So that could help you when you're deciding where to send them to. So we can see this is a level 1 dungeon. All of our heroes are level 1, so let's go ahead and send them in. Alright, send expedition. Which party do you want to send in? Party 1, 2, or 3? Well, party 2 and 3 are empty, and it won't even let you send them, so let's go ahead and choose party 1. Party travels to the wild forest. As we can see, party 1 is adventuring to the wild forest. Oh, we found a hunting lodge to the west. And they've already returned, because I spent some time talking about it. So here's the lodge. Abandoned hunting lodge. You may now set villagers to be hunters and gatherers. Alright, what does that mean? Oh, and a beast tamer has joined. Be sure to equip his animal companion. Lots of things happening here. Alright, so villagers can be sent to hunters and gatherers. So villagers either can be accessed through the main menu by right-clicking or hitting escape. So I'm going to right-click, bring up the main menu. I have villager control. The other way, you hit right-click or escape to exit the menu as well. The other way to bring up your villager control is right here on the GUI, the villagers. And so here are all the villagers. So we have 4. I'm just going to exit this for a second. See, we have 4 population. Cool. So I have 4 villagers I can set to various tasks. So the villagers, what do? Gives you +1 food, and what this means is in the background there's what we call our heartbeat, and that kind of does everything in the game. So it'll collect resources, it'll advance the season, it'll count how long an adventuring party has been out on an adventure and bring them back. So it does a lot of stuff in the background, and so on each heartbeat, which is roughly 8 to 12 seconds, you're going to get +1 food per villager, and each villager is going to have a chance to procreate and make more villagers. So, what will hunters do? They give you +1 food, skins, herbs, furs, or bones. So it'll give you 1 of those. And there's a little bit of a bonus if we maximize the hunting lodge, that is, we upgrade it to its maximum level. And gatherers, +1 food, seeds, fibers, or wood, and +1 if we have Mother Oak. That's a ultimate castle upgrade. So, as you advance in the game, you'll get more villager roles that you can assign. As you can see, these are very primitive roles, and that's kind of how you start, with these primitive hunter-gatherer type roles, and then as you advance, you can get into more advanced roles like blacksmiths and chiefs and entertainers and scouts and diplomats and stuff like that. So right now our list is very small. So as you can see, if I add a hunter, it subtracts from the number of villagers. It's good to start building up your base skins and herbs and furs and fibers and seeds. Build up a base of that as you go along. That way you can have those available later on when you want to make leather armor or plant seeds in your fields to make more food than just the basic +1 food. So we can do that. That's fine. We probably won't starve to death. So we've set some villagers, so a whole bunch of other things happened too right there. We got a Beastmaster, as you can see, you can assign him to the party, alright, or we can go ahead and take a look at him. So here he is down here in unassigned heroes. He isn't assigned to any party. But let's go ahead, the note did say to make sure we equip him with his Hawk Companion. This is to kind of get you used to the equipping system. So you can click on Hero Equip, and then you can choose which hero you want to equip. If we hover over our Beast Tamer, we can see he currently has a crude leather whip and a crude fur jerkin. Alright, seems pretty crude. So we click on him, and so here's our Beast Tamer. We can see he's level 1, he has no job points. Here are his critical statistics, like max hit points, attack, defense, magic defense, willpower, all that sort of stuff. And we can see here his equipment slots. So each class, so he is a Beast Tamer, each class has different equipment slots that they're allowed to use. So as a basic Beast Tamer, which is one of the beginning classes, he has 5 equipment slots, and some classes may have more or less than that. Usually as you advance along and unlock more classes, higher tier classes, they'll have more and different equipment slots. So the Beast Tamer has a special equipment slot for an animal. So let's go ahead. You can click the optimize, which works okay. I tend to do all of my gear manually, but we can change up his gear. So if we want to change his leather whip, we don't have any more. They would appear in the list here. Same with his body gear. Nope, don't have any more. We really haven't done much adventuring or crafting. So that's your 2 main sources for getting gear. The third would be trading with the races that are nearby. And hopefully we can get to that in another video. So here, let's go ahead and equip his animal. Oh, there we go, Hawk Companion. So what you'll notice is that it's white, those are gray, so all loot is color-coded based on its rarity and power. So gray is the lowest, next up is white, after that you get yellow, green, then blue, then purple, then orange. So there are many different loot tiers, and it will get kind of colorful in here for you as you find better loot. So he equipped his Hawk Companion. If we hover over the Hawk Companion, we can see at the very top, this Hawk Companion can be summoned for battle, and it also gives the Beast Tamer Evade, Magic Evade, and TP Charge Up. TP is technique points that many classes use for abilities inside of combat. It's yet another resource like hit points and mana points that you use to do stuff in combat. So cool, so he's got a Hawk Companion. So we can go ahead and the other thing that happened was our adventuring party came back. So party 1 went out, they adventured, and then they came back. So one little trick before we start here that I want to show you is in the system menu. So we can see that our human speaker is wounded from that adventure. No one else got wounded, which is odd. Probably she did a good job healing them. But she is wounded, and how do you get hit points back outside of combat? Well, they come back during that heartbeat thing that I mentioned earlier. So every 8 to 12 seconds or so, all of your heroes will regain a number of hit points based on a number of factors. You get a base rate that just happens from normal resting, and your heroes will get back their health. But then later on in the game, as you unlock other areas of the game and unlock other villager roles, you can assign villagers to be healers, which could help your people regain hit points. And there are a few other things that can help that as well to speed that up. But what we want to do here is, and this may or may not be useful for you, I like playing this way, is when I'm in the menus, because there's a lot to do in the menus, like equipping and assigning skills and looking at the battle logs and all that sort of stuff. I like all the heartbeat stuff, like the gaining of resources and the healing of my heroes, to happen while I'm in the menus. By default, it's off, just to make it so new players aren't overwhelmed with things happening all at once. But you can turn it on, so that way when you are in the menus, all that background stuff is still going on, and you will get a musical cue if something major happens, like an event. So I'm going to go to the system menu, where you can change the color of the menus, the volume, so if you don't like the music, you can set it down to 0, the background sound. So I'm going to come over here to the pause heartbeat. We're working on getting this to be clickable. It's not right now. Just hit the left arrow or the right arrow, and that'll turn it off and on. So I'm not going to pause the heartbeat when I'm in the menus. That's all that does. You don't need to worry about saving the game. As I said before, it will autosave all the time. So there's no save in here that you'd normally see in a game of this nature. So getting back to our party that returned from the adventure, we can see them in we can see what happened in several different ways. We can get from the main menu here, we can go to Expedition, or we can go to the Wayrest, which is the inn, so we can get to the Expedition from here. So this menu will show you each of your parties that you have unlocked. You can edit the party from here, or from the main GUI. You can take a look at them, or you can look at their latest expedition. So here we have Party 1. Expedition. So what happened? The party adventured to the Wild Forest. What was the outcome? The Goblin Chieftain was defeated. How far did they get? Which floor did they reach? They reached floor 10. Each dungeon has up to 10 floors, and the boss is on the 10th floor. So a couple other things are going on in here. So we have loot gained is in this box. So what do they find for loot? And then, did anything happen to any of your heroes? So did any of them die? You'll see a little skull and crossbones right here next to the hero name. They can also gain and lose their core statistics, so they can gain or lose attack, defense, hit points, and that's just organic development. It happens rarely, but it does happen, and so your heroes will develop organically as they adventure. So they could become a lot more powerful, they could stay about the same, or you can start to see that maybe this hero isn't developing all that well, and they really weren't meant for it, and you can go ahead and either dismiss them or send them to their death. So the other thing you can do on this expedition screen is look at the combat log. So here is our combat log, and it's broken down into each floor that they reached in the dungeon. So if I click on Fight 1, we can see, okay, well, giant rats emerged. And so you can see on turn number 1 what happened. Okay, what skill did each of your heroes use? Okay, so our human pathfinder whips a stone from his sling. Cool. He missed. Alright. Good for him. And then you can see what his current ratings are, what his current stats are at the end of his action. So he has 150 hit points left out of 150. He has 40 mana points, and he has 1 technique point. Oh, giant rat attacked. Giant rat B. Looks like there's 2 giant rat A and B. Pathfinder took some damage. Alright. The Speaker, which is our healer, she attacks. So really, 18 damage isn't enough to waste an entire heal spell on, so that's probably why she didn't heal the Pathfinder right away. So she whacked the rat with her staff and hit him. Giant rat attacks, misses the Pathfinder. And the warrior attacks. As you can see, the Speaker, who's a healer, is attacking with her basic staff and hit the rat for 21. The warrior, who's a little bit more geared, meant for combat, and attacking with his physical weapons, hit for 54 damage. So obviously you can tweak and assign your heroes how you wish, and assign their classes, pick their skills, and so you can make hybrids, you can make full healers, you can decide how you want your heroes to go, but he killed that rat. And if we scroll down by moving the mouse to the bottom of the screen, you'll see that it has a little crown symbol, or arrow symbol, if you will, and you can scroll the screen. So on turn number 2, right away, the human pathfinder, rogue type classes and archer type classes. Actually, rogue classes are usually pretty fast, so they'll usually go at the beginning of the round. And then archer classes are someone who's equipped with a ranged weapon, has an additional speed bonus. So if you have someone like a thief with a bow, they're kind of getting speed bonuses from both those areas. So it makes sense that a ranged weapon would kind of go a little bit faster, and that's to kind of simulate the range of the item. So he went right away and killed the last goblin, or the last rat. So you can see here he took some damage in that first round. And his technique points are going to slowly raise, and we'll get to that. So our party was victorious, and we got 26 experience points. So I can right-click or escape to exit out of that fight log, and you can go through and look at each round and see what happened. As you can see, the XP is different based on what enemies you're killing, and how many of them there are. There's also a way to go first. So here the Human Warriors party got the upper hand. Means they get to go first without the enemy attacking in the first round. We can see, okay, that was a little bit longer of a fight. Probably more rats. Looks like it was 3 rats. So we can go all the way to the last fight here. And so the bosses for each dungeon, their names will be in caps. And so we have a Goblin Chieftain and a Goblin Runt. So we can see what happened in this fight as well. You can see the Pathfinder is really low on hit points at this point. He's got 78 hit points. Chieftain attacks. Warrior took some damage. He's still got 146, so he's okay. The Warrior went ahead and attacked. He can't heal himself yet. But then the Human Speaker. So being a healer, she kind of looks over the battlefield and decides who needs healing the most. Sometimes she won't make the best decisions. Your healers won't make the best decisions because it is a chaotic battle and there is some randomness in there. But typically, if she sees someone like the Pathfinder who's in desperate need of healing, who needs healing, they will do it. So the Speaker went ahead and chanced for minor healing. That's a skill. And the Pathfinder recovered 64 hit points. So now he's at 142 hit points. A lot better. So we can scroll down, see what happened. Oh, wasn't too long of a fight. The beginning dungeons are pretty easy and simple. They're meant to get you into the game. So the chieftain went down, kind of at this last attack here. And so the party was victorious. They got 65 experience. You always get more XP for beating up the main boss. And it looks like they leveled up as well. the 3 people in the party. So throughout the dungeon, the party will not just go right to the end no matter what, even if everyone's got 1 hit point left and no mana points. What they'll do is, after each fight, they'll make a decision. And there is some randomness in the decision as well, but it's greatly based on how many hit points they have left out of their maximum as a party. If anyone's dead, that definitely kind of makes them want to leave the dungeon, and how many mana points they have left as well. So as they move along through the floors of the dungeon, they'll make decisions, and if at like floor 6, if they're getting a little winded, lots of people are wounded, they might decide to cut it off there and come back home, and so that you only see you fight 1 through 6, and they won't make it all the way. So that's kind of how dungeons run. If we want to see what they got in the dungeon, we can go to the item vault. So here we have items, and items are things that you use on heroes. So we have a few items. We have a burial shroud, which you just get in the game. That's used on dead heroes to bury them. So that'll kind of get them out of the rotation, get them off your screen, and it'll also kind of free up that hero type, if applicable, to be available to be recruited again later on. They'll come back as a level 1 hero. I'll reset a different hero, but it does free them up. And then any other items. So these will be items that you use. So grant the user a minuscule amount of XP, the XP drop. Wizard Turnip, +1 mat, so magic attack, at the cost of -1 magic defense. So these low-level items don't just add, they add and subtract. So use with caution. I'm going to go ahead and use the XP drop on my leader. It's good to have him or her leveled up as much as possible. So we only had 1. So it's gone now. We used it on him. And so, the skills that the heroes were using can be set here. You'll see this says heroes skills or techniques. So if I go to the human warrior, we can see he has no basic skills. He has 1 melee skill, power attack. Strike the enemy with a powerful weapon attack. It costs him 15 technique points. Cool. We can learn skills here. So for all the classes that this hero has available, he can learn, will show here. So you can learn some basic skills like Second Wind, but it will tell you which class the skill is coming from. So it comes from Warrior, as you can see at the top there in brackets, and it costs 500 JPs. So can't afford that. He has 131 JPs after going into 1 dungeon. So probably after 4 more dungeons he'll have enough to buy that really cheap skill, Second Wind, which lets him recover some hit points. So that sounds like a good skill. He can also learn some melee skills. So here's a hammer skill, so he needs to have a hammer equipped to do that. Clubbing, heavy strike can stun, so that's a hammer attack that can stun. Costs a lot of TPs. Stun is pretty powerful. This one can knock down. You also notice a few other items in here, WU and CD. That's warm up and cooldown. So this hammer down skill has 1 WU, 1 warm up. That means in each fight he can't use it on the first turn. He has to warm up a little bit to use it. And then cooldown is the opposite. So after he uses it, he can't use this skill for 1 turn. It has 1 cooldown. So that's kind of how those work there. In the fight is a technique. Adds the technique in the fight. So techniques are how your heroes get technique points in combat. So everyone gets a basic one. Most basic strategies gain some TP at battle start and 1 TP each round. So that one's the most basic. You can spend JPs to learn new ones, or you can trade for new ones. There are other ways to learn new techniques, and you can build out your list and then set your hero. So the healer has one where every time they heal they gain TPs. The rogue might have one where when they evade they gain TPs. The warrior has one where as he takes damage he gains TPs. So you can set each hero based on how you think they're going to perform in combat, and they will get their technique points as they go. Classes, as heroes level up in each class, as you can see, this is a speaker, this is a pathfinder, that's a warrior, Alex is also a warrior, and our Beast Tamer is a Beast Tamer. There are 82 classes at the moment in Sim Hero, and you can have a secondary class as well. So here we have our speaker. She only knows 1 class, speaker. As she learns more classes, they will appear in this list, and you can set a primary and a subclass. So because there are 82 classes at the moment, there's about 6,500 different class combinations you can make with each hero. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you do your heroes. Crafting we won't get into in this video. The only other thing I wanted to go over right now was the status. So the status menu has a lot of information on it. So if I want to look at, let's say, the warrior, we can see his general information. He's a warrior. He needs 103 XP to get to the next level. That makes sense. 12 plus 103 is 115. We can see some basic ratings about him here. Attributes, this is just a graphical representation of those attributes. So his attack is really high, being a warrior. That makes sense. His defense and will are the next highest stats as a warrior. Again, makes some sense. His magic attack and magic defense are pretty low, and his agility is somewhat low as well. All makes sense as a warrior. Any properties about him. So what's his physical hit chance? What's his magical hit chance? Critical hit chance? Can he counterattack? So here's some basic kind of properties about this hero. As you equip gear and as you change your class, you'll see these ratings change. So tanking is another important stat. So he's really good at being targeted by enemies. So the warrior will have a high tanking value. Someone like a priest. So I'm going to use page up and page down here. So if I page down to the speaker, you can see her tanking value is 75%. So she's good at hiding in the back lines behind the warriors and hopefully not getting hit as much as the warriors. So we'll come back to the warrior here. So any elements. So all the elements that are in the game are listed here. So you'll see those over here. Physical damage dealt. So does he have any bonuses or penalties to dealing physical damage? Most weapons will deal physical damage, and they'll tell you if they deal a different damage type. Same with all the different elements we have in the game. Holy, dark, lightning, acid, ice. So that's the hero dealing the damage. So does he have any bonuses or penalties to dealing that damage? And then we also have damage taken. So as we can see here, he's already lower. He takes less damage from ice. He probably has some sort of crude fur armor, because this is a basic tribe right now, which lowers ice damage taken. So you can kind of see those there. Any current states, so if he's affected by any current states, like is he diseased, or usually these will be beneficial states. So has he learned a special ability through training? Does he have anything that's currently going on, or does he have any permanent wounds? This is a old school game, so if he has a broken leg, he's going to have that broken leg forever until you find something that can cure it, like a splint for his leg or something. So those will show there as well. State chances, so these are the chances he has of being stunned, of being paralyzed, of being slept, of being cursed, of going to penance. So all those are in there. So right now, it's just a straight up normal chance. So just like everyone else, he has of being stunned. So, any skills? He only has the one skill. His current equipment, his current class, biography. So this biography will change over time, organically, as he adventures. So he got a title, the first hero, and then he stepped forward in the early days to tame the wild forest. Their bravery will never be forgotten. So as he goes along in adventures, this will fill in with his history. We can rename him. So if we don't like Human Warrior as the name, we can call him whatever we want. And then statistics. So how many adventures has he been on? Has he been assigned to any guard captain duty? And how many fights has he done as your guard captain? How many kills does he have? Of those kills, are any boss kills? And what's the breakdown of those kills for the enemy type? And then all the other special stats, like has he scored critical hits, has he healed anybody, has he buffed or debuffed anybody, how many TPs has he used in his career, how many MPs, so a whole bunch of stats as well. So we defeated the wild forest. You may now harvest lumber from here. Villagers can be set to lumberjacks. And a Amazon hero joined our cause. So we can start filling out party 2. Here we have a beast tamer, and here we have an Amazon. Cool. While we're doing, so we don't have that dungeon. It's now gone. It's turned into the lumber mill. There's just a goblin camp there. Cool. So level 1 lumber mill. If we upgrade it, we can set villagers to be paper makers. Well, we don't have a lot of lumber. We only have 8. So if I go into villagers, I can now set people to lumberjacks. So it's going to take a food and give 2 wood. So if I hit plus, it's going to take it from the villager pool. So now I'm making less food because I took the +1 away from a villager, and a lumberjack is consuming a food to give me 2 wood per heartbeat. So a good idea is to keep an eye on your food over here. Again, if any of these top 3 resources reaches 0, you lose the game. So you don't want food to get down to 0, so you want to carefully manage your villagers so you're not driving your food into the ground. So now we're getting more wood. As you can see, this was 8 before, and it just went up to 14. So our lumberjack there is chopping away at wood, and our food seems stable. We're not losing food every round. So now there's another dungeon. The dungeons should all look basically like this, except as you explore, there's some pretty large mega dungeons, like a volcano and some other stuff. So those will be pretty obvious when you hover the mouse over them as well. So we have a new dungeon that we can go explore. So here we can send Party 2 in, but it only has those 2 guys in it, so I don't recommend that. They'd have a better chance of dying, so we'll go ahead and send Party 1 back in. And so now Party 1 is adventuring to the Goblin Cave. And so here's the last thing I wanted to go over for this video, which was events. So the event system happens every now and then, and the events are random. So in the beginning of the game, they're usually beneficial. This one happens not to be. We got attacked by wild animals. But in the beginning of the game, they should be a little bit more beneficial. And so, again, they're random, so no 2 games will play through exactly the same. And so we had wild animals, we were defeated, we don't have a guard captain. We'll get to that in a later video, how you assign a guard captain. And the attackers did not loot. Well, they're animals, so it makes sense that they didn't loot. But we did lose population. And that makes sense. The wild animals attacks, and someone died. Alright, that's about it for this video. I did promise that I was going to show you the monarch action at the castle. So that looks like this. Once every event, your leader can take an action. So this can be to train for XP, study for JP, make an appearance, so he makes an appearance amongst the people, do a walkabout, which has a random effect. You could gain resources. There's some rare chances to gain some other things. Or you can write up some dismissal papers to dismiss a hero. And if you try to do it again, see, we've already used it. We must wait until after the next event. So again, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and happy adventuring.